Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to Pecan Ranch. This past week has been a rough one. We were just slammed with some freezing weather out here in the Midwest and in the southern states. We just had some terrible weather, 0 degree, below 0 degree weather. We got, and there's still some snow on the ground out here. Right now everything's a soupy mess because it's finally started to thaw. The weather's turning around, getting nice again. But we had just some tough weather. We had at some point or another an accumulation of about a foot of snow. And for those of you coming in from the northern states like Nebraska, North Dakota, places like that, Wisconsin, Michigan, you folks are used to this type of weather. We're not, but we managed to get along just fine. It just was a rough weather. Things are starting to thaw, things are doing good, but today, I want to talk to you about a new solar fence charger that I got and do a review of it and explain why I like it and the pros and cons of it, though so far I haven't really seen too many cons. So anyhow, I'm gonna get everybody fed and I'll see you folks here in a minute, and we will discuss this new solar fence charger and what I like about it. So I am super excited for this warmer weather, this thawing weather. It's up above freezing now, and we've got predicted highs in the 40s and 50s, and I am ecstatic about that. Why am I ecstatic about that? Because this pond is not freezing overnight. See this little hole right here? I have been having to break that up every day, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. And this morning coming out here and realizing that I don't have to swing the mattock to break up this ice is just a wonderful, wonderful thing to see in the morning. My chores are becoming easier now because things aren't frozen. So it's been a rough week, rough almost 2 weeks of this freezing weather. I just had to come back here and double check on this pond. I was pretty sure it would be thawed this morning. I had to break it up yesterday morning, but yesterday was so warm. Yesterday I couldn't see any grass until late in the afternoon. Things started thawing. So I'm gonna head around to the very back pasture, check on the big pigs, give them a little bit of sweet feed and some belly rubs, and then we'll come back up here and we'll talk a little bit about this new solar fence charger and give it kind of a good review. See you folks in a second. Good morning, piggies. How are you? How's everybody? Oh goodness, we're excited today, huh? Look at this. We actually can see the grass. Aren't we excited? Yes. All right, piggies, I'm gonna give you a little bit of sweet. Whoa, goodness gracious. You're jumping on me? Calm down, you're getting too big for this. All right, look out, piggies. Look out. A little bit of sweet feed. A little bit of sweet feed. Everybody's excited today. Everybody's excited. We are excited, huh? Goodness. They're being crazy. They are super excited today. I think they're excited because there's still some snow on the ground, but goodness gracious. Are we excited? Are we excited? Look at this. And I don't have to break up the pond, the ice on the pond. I mean, it's a swampy soup out here, but at least it's warm. Look at that, piggy. You can get water without my help. Look at that. You got water all over the place even. Exciting times. It is exciting. Look, you even got water all the way over here. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Happy pigs. Pigs are super happy today. They have been spending half of their day in bed here lately because it's been so cold. I mean, most of the week it's been 0 degrees or colder, and now it's practically tropical weather in comparison to what it's been. Now they can root around. There's more stuff for them to eat on. They're super excited. They were happy to see me this morning for apparently no reason, because they've been needing me to get water, because every single morning I've had to break up that ice. But now we don't have to, huh, piggies? You can get your water on your own. What's up, Wilbur? These pigs are getting along nice. They're getting awfully big now. They're probably close to 80 pounds, or right around there. So they're gaining good. Look at, they are so excited to be able to root around again and get into the dirt. The ground's been frozen solid. They haven't been able to root. There had been, up until yesterday, at least 12 inches of snow on the ground. And so I actually need to adjust my fence just a touch, because I had to lift it up a little bit because of the snow in this area right here. I'll lower it down a little bit, although these pigs have, these pigs have been pretty good about not messing with the fence. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, are you supposed to be doing that? Yeah, that's what I thought. You were just itching yourself, huh? Don't be chewing on the ropes, tearing down your shelter. These pigs have been ornery. They know better too. Anyways, before I get to talking about the new fence charger, I want to go over the type of fence chargers we normally use on the farm. And I've mentioned this in our electric fence video. If you haven't seen that one, go back and take a look at it. Kind of explains the basics of electric fence, the benefits of it, the applications and stuff. This is the typical fence charger that we use. They're about $100 at Atwoods or Tractor Supply, and it's not necessarily the brand Blitzer. I think we have another one up front, but they're basically the exact same thing, same price, just different brand. And to be honest with you, I bet they're manufactured by the same people, just slap a different sticker on it. And so these are nice and they do the trick, but there are a few things that I don't necessarily like about them. The light here, as you can see, you can't see it blinking hardly. You can barely see it blinking if there's any sunlight out, and so you have to kind of cup your hand over it to check if the fence is okay and that it's running, because if it's not blinking, then that means that the fence is not working. So hey, stop chewing on things. Hey, stop chewing on things that don't belong to you, okay? You know better. So that's really honestly one of the major things I'm not a fan of. Otherwise, these fence chargers, these cheaper ones, they're about $100 for a 2-mile charger. They do the trick and they do it well. And I still am gonna use these ones. Like I've got this one here, and then I've got one that powers my front pasture, and I like it. And with the addition of this $14 adapter plate to hook onto T-post, I can set it on a T-post, and it works. It honestly does. It works okay, but I'll show you the new one here in a second when we go back up to the front, and I'll explain why I like it so much better, even though it costs a little bit more. So let's go up there and take a look at that one. All right, so we're walking over here, and let me kind of explain my setup a little bit. This front pasture all around here is powered by one fence charger, and that's a fence charger up over there, and it's a 2-mile charger just like the one in the back. It's a different brand, but honestly it's the exact same thing, just sold by a different store. And then I've got the portable one in the back, and this charger right here was powering the neighbor's pasture where the cattle are being kept. For those of you who don't know, who have been living under a rock, or have not been experiencing this major freeze that the Midwest and the South has gotten, it's been pretty rough. And thing is about this is that it's a pretty typical type of winter to experience if you're in Michigan per se, but not for Oklahoma or Texas, the southern states that have been hit pretty hard by this. And so because of that, a lot of things were tough to come by in stock wise. Now the situation was, our bull calf Charlie was being ornery, and what he was doing was he was not respecting the wire at all, and kept finding a spot that he could squeeze through and go through the fence over there to grab some snacks, and eating on some leaves over there. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah, you ornery little calf. I'm talking about you. Yes, you. Yeah, don't try and deny it. Whoa, I found a hole. Hey, look at that. There's a hole. So he was being ornery, and I got him in a couple times, and then he'd play in the snow and he was running around. And so I put up a second hot wire, and that was doing all right, but he got out again. He just didn't mind touching it. Now he's not touching it, and the reason he's not touching it is because I thought, well, with that one charger it can power 2 miles, but it was powering about 1.5 miles, so it was getting up there to its limit. So I said, we need another 2-mile charger. So my wife went to the store, and they were out of stock of those ones, and a lot of stuff has been tough to get in stock because either A, shipments are delayed because of the weather, or B, people are buying things all up. Like you couldn't hardly get a hold of de-icer, or a combination of the two. People are buying it up and trucks can't deliver because of the snow and the ice. So she said, well, they've got the Gallagher one, and I'm well aware of these Gallaghers, and there's this Gallagher S10 is what we ended up getting. And it was, so in comparison to the other 2-mile chargers like the Blitzer and I honestly can't remember what brand that one is over there, but it's the same thing as the Blitzer. They're $100. These ones are $140. So they're about $40 more. But this one is a 3-mile charger. So I said, well, we need it. We need a hotter fence, so that way we can discourage Charlie from trying to get through the fence. And so I disconnected this fence from that charger, and it's running on its own charger now. So that way it would be a hotter fence and be able to, it's not powering as much wire, so it's gonna produce more of a shock. Now, since getting it and installing it, I have discovered that I like this way better, and in the future, if I'm buying any more solar fence chargers, it will be this brand. I am not being sponsored in any way, fashion, or form by Gallagher, but I'm very impressed with this charger, and I have been very impressed with their Polyrope. And their Polyrope that I'm using is a little bit tougher, a little bit more durable than this other stuff that I have used, and they're roughly around the same price. So I hadn't had any problem paying the extra like $5 it costs to get the Gallagher Polyrope versus the whatever cheapo brand that I had gotten in the past, because it's a little bit more durable, and cost wise it's not that big of a deal. Generally speaking, I have been kind of opposed to buying this brand electric fence because everything that they sell is more expensive, honestly, in comparison to other brands. However, in this particular instance, the money is well worth it. I know for their Polyrope it has been. I was kind of sold after buying some of their Polyrope, and I like the durability of it. It's a little bit stouter than the cheaper brand, but it seems to have, it has more strands woven into it, so it has a higher propensity of getting good contact and making a good shock. But the money is definitely well worth it on this, because if you think about it, not only does it produce a hotter shock, it can charge more fence than the entry-level solar chargers of the 2-mile variety. This is a 3-mile charger. That's one thing I like about it. That's the feature, one of the features I like about it. Here's another feature. If you notice, it's sitting here on a T-post. Now, how is it doing that? Well, it's got a built-in T-post mount. And I don't know if you can see very well, but it has several slots in it. So that allows it to be mounted. Let me get this back on here, one-handed like. There we go. That allows it to be mounted 360 degrees on this T-post. So I have the T-post adapter for the charger in the back that allows me to put a wooden plank on it, but it can only be placed so many ways on that T-post. So you have to face your T-post, and that's fine when in a portable situation like over there, where you're going to be setting your T-post. And so I intentionally faced it to the south. However, if you're trying to put it on an existing T-post application, say we wanted to move this guy to one of those T-posts over there, well, we'd need it facing that way, and those T-posts aren't facing the right direction for it. So you can rotate that fence charger 360 degrees on a T-post and mount it really whichever direction best suits you to face the south. That is one huge plus in comparison to the other fence chargers that you can only screw into a piece of wood of some kind. Another major benefit is, remember how I was talking about how you can't hardly see that light blinking on the other unit? Well, this one, not only can you easily see it, but at night, or whenever it's not super sunny out, I can see it from my porch. So I know that that fence is working, and that green flashing light means that it's not grounded out, the fence is working good, and the battery's in good condition. And it can change color to indicate a low charge on the battery, meaning that you either need to replace the battery, or you've had too many not so sunny days and you need to shut it off and let it charge up. So those are really honestly the major benefits. And to be honest with you, I had been avoiding buying those just because I thought, well, they do just the same thing, except maybe these are just a fancier color, fancier looking, and I just didn't like how much more I would have to spend on them. Another little added benefit is these lead connectors here are plastic versus metal on the other ones, which means that you're not gonna get, if you're needing to tighten it up or adjust it without turning it off, which again is minor, but you're not going to get zapped if you touch it or whatever. I can handle this and move it, and there's not really much exposure to being shocked because of the setup that it is. So the Gallagher S10 I like it a lot. If I need to get another solar charger unit, I'll be replacing either one of these or adding two. I would be getting another Gallagher S10. Again, not sponsored by them or anything. In fact, I had been avoiding them, and I think in my electric fence video I might have even mentioned that there are other brands out there, they just cost more, and the reason why I went with the cheaper one is purely out of cost. But after a happy accident, we were in a position where we needed one, and so we went ahead and spent the extra money on getting one of these, the extra 40 bucks. And after having it and having used it for a few days now, I can't honestly imagine using another brand, because I like them so much. There's so if you're on the fence, no pun intended, as to whether you should spend a little bit extra money and buy a Gallagher versus the cheaper brands, just take into consideration the other ones work, and they work just fine. But there are a couple of things that you have to think about. Now, if you are planning on needing to T-post mount them, the other ones you'll have to get an adapter that typically you can only find online, and that's an extra $14–15 to buy one of those. The other ones, their lights their indicator lights are not very bright at all, and are kind of a pain to see. And to be honest with you, most of the time whenever I test my other fences, instead of looking at the light, if it's bright outside, I just hold the fence and see if I feel a shock, because that's honestly an easier way to determine if I've got good shock coming out of that fence versus trying to look at the indicator light. This one you can see very easily and very well. They're also a tad bit more durable. They seem to be a little bit heftier built than the other ones. But to be honest with you, when it comes to durability, your solar charger shouldn't be taking much of a beating. They'll be mounted in a fixed position, and honestly won't be moving around too much unless you're, doing a rotating pasture type system like I'm doing. You might be moving around a little bit, but as long as you're not throwing it on the ground, the durability isn't really going to come into play too much. So those are my thoughts on the Gallagher S10. I like it. And if you're considering buying a solar fence charger and you're wondering if the extra money is worth it, I think it is, just for those features. And they seem very minor, but trust me, they're important to have, I think. But again, you can get by, if you want to save 40 bucks, you can get by with those cheaper brands like the Blitzer or I don't know, Ranch Pro, or whatever the cheap brand is, whatever store you're going to, whether it be Tractor Supply or Atwoods, will have. So a little update on the little pigs. They're out here on pasture again, aren't you? Are you being good pigs, huh, Oreo? Huh? We had to have them locked up in the pen for some a little bit of remedial training on the electric fence, because they were not respecting the wire and were sneaking out, and I was having to chase them every other day. But I have fixed the issues. There were a couple of spots where the fence was just a little bit too tall, and so I lowered it down so that these guys couldn't just slip on out. And I had to address some issues with the gates, because they like to crawl underneath gates. Got that sorted out, and they spent some time in that pen and got reacquainted with that electric fence, and now they seem to be respecting it just fine. And so now they're getting to come out here and munch on some pecans, and hopefully soon we will graduate them into the rest of with the rest of the pigs before moving those pigs on to the next paddock, which will be coming soon. So if you have any comments, if you have any input at all on solar fence chargers, if you have a specific brand that you like, hit me up in the comment section below and let me know. If you have anything to say about either Gallagher or other brands that have worked good for you in the past. Also, drop a comment and let me know where you're viewing from. Has this random freeze affected you at all? Have you been in an area that was hit by this? Let me know where you're watching from, so that way we kind of know where all of our viewers are coming from. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And hit that notification bell so that way you're aware anytime we come out with a new video. So until the next time, we will hope to see you all back at the ranch.